Hello, everybody. Welcome to another broadcast of Adults Only. I am your boy Jahi, and you got Chazz over there, and we got some things to talk about tonight. First of all, Chazz, I want to start off by saying how you doing tonight. What's going on with you?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm hanging in there, man. I just wanted to try to get into this discussion tonight because I looked at the screen and it says we've been doing this for a month, this particular
Wow.
subject. And that
Wow.
says a lot. Helpful tips in life for group improvement because our
Yeah.
group needs to improve. Our
Yes.
group needs to realize that some of these things we're saying, Chaz, are helpful for all of us. We all
Right.
can learn from these. And that's why I like doing these types of broadcasts because we're always encouraging people and we're always talking about the shortcomings, but we always give something that we can do to help better us as a people because we need it, Chaz. We really need it.
Oh yeah, and I tell people a lot, like when we're talking and doing these shows, it's not always about us trying to dog people out or talk down. This is to help me and you as well. So people have to remember that we're included in these discussions as well. So I've enjoyed this, like you said, this month of
Mhm.
these episodes, and I can't believe it that we've been doing it this long. But yeah, I've enjoyed it.
All right, then let's see how far we get tonight. Hopefully, this will be the last one and we'll get to another subject. If not, we'll stretch it out a little bit more. But here's a helpful tip to all of us. And this one, Chaz, please take it away.
Number 19, quit lying so much and tell the truth. Yes, whatever happens, you don't have to actually lie about it, even if it's hard as far as something that you know that you did wrong and they caught you red-handed. Just tell the truth. It's going to get to a point where a lot of people know this, where you lie so much, people don't trust you, they don't want to be around you. Everything they say, they second and third guessing. So just tell the truth.
Yeah, that's true, Chaz, because these helpful tips we're talking about, these tips all of us can use. But, a lot of us in our group, the African American group, we don't like to discuss this, but we have a lot of liars in our group. See, we want to make it seem like everybody is honest, everybody is truthful. But even in our families, we know that we have a lot of people who fabricate, who just lie through their teeth all the time. And that's not necessary. It really isn't
Right,
necessary. Just just
right,
just be honest because we don't really have to lie. But a lot of us, we feel as though if we're not lying, we can't really be honest and talk. But we can, Chaz. I mean, if I ask you a question like, where did you get that shirt from? You can say, well, I got it from this little store. It only cost me about $7. But no, you want to say, man, this thing costs two or three G's. You know what I'm saying? Oh, this so something. Why can't we tell the truth, Chaz? What do you think is one of our biggest problems as to why we lie so much?
Well, like you just pointed out, and I didn't think of it that way. Like you pointed out, we want some of the people, our friends, our peers, our family members, to be think of us a little bit more of a higher echelon or a higher status, and that's why, like you just mentioned, that like we can get some shoes or some decent shoes, about 40 or $50, and like you said, we'll tell them we went to the store and the cashier rung it up for $289, and it's not about it. So I think it's basically an image that we
Okay.
have with
Okay.
ourselves, and then on
Mhm.
top of that we want to be looked at in a higher echelon or a higher class, if you will.
Everybody, I want to be honest with you right now, and I think we all can do this. Let's
Okay.
make a pact with ourselves. Let's make a pact with ourselves that we're going to stop lying so much. We're going to be honest. We're going to tell the truth because that's what it's all about. Because we have a group of people that just many of us, we seem like we cannot open our mouths unless it's something that we're saying that's twisted. And this has brought us down a lot, Chaz.
Yeah.
But oftentimes we like to sugarcoat it, even when our children start off young, started lying. Instead of us being honest and straighten them out, we say, well, that's just a little white lie, or that, they're just being cute. No, they're liars. And we
Yeah.
got to stop that because we're having some issues. Let's talk about acknowledging those who've come out to actually support this broadcast.
Oh yeah. We got Sister Barbara. She says hotel with a thumb. We appreciate her. We got Aunt Nuji in the building. Hey, Nuji. She says peace and blessings, family. We appreciate her. We got Sister Mashonda Fires in here. She says, hey, we appreciate you. Brother Ray's in here. What's up, Ray? He says black respect and black love is in the dualism of black power. We appreciate him. And Sister Barbara comes back at us. She says, deal with the liars, King. And
Yeah,
we
we're
are.
going to. That's right. Keep going, Chaz.
Uh, Brother Ray fires back at us. He says, I hate people who misunderstand you by trying to read between the lines. Say,
Uh-oh.
uh-oh.
My fault.
It's okay. Hey, we got another one. Sister Gloria's in here. She says some people can't handle the truth. Absolutely.
Let me get back to what Brother Ray said, because I don't want to cut him off.
Right. I'm going to reread it. He says, I hate people who misunderstand you by trying to read between the lines. Say what you said or don't say anything at all. Yeah. And there's a lot of people like that, Ray, where they always are trying to read in between the lines instead of just being a straight shooter. Say what you got to say and leave it alone. Quit. Not you, Ray, but just people in general. Always trying to read between the lines. Just shoot straight. I read that one, brother. Sister Gloria says some people can't handle the truth. I'll let you take that one.
Yeah, because I want to say whether they can handle the truth or not. And I know what she's saying. She's saying some people, they don't want to hear the truth. But whether they want to hear it or not, it's incumbent upon us to tell the truth. And she's right. Some people don't want to hear the truth. Some people run from the truth. Some people lie about the truth. Every week they lie when we sit around in these buildings and say, ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. The truth makes us angry. The truth makes us mad. The truth makes us not want to be bothered, see? So she's right. Some people can't handle the truth, but that doesn't take our responsibility away from telling the truth, and we have to tell the truth, Chazz.
Absolutely. We got another comment. Sister Marie's in the building. She says, Hotep family, hey, these comments are firing in, so if I'm reading them fast, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to go as fast as I can because they're coming in quick. Brother Ray fires back at us. He says, parents lie about the Easter Bunny and Santa Claus. He's right.
All the time.
He's right. The thing is, as an adult, we know that there's no fat man that's coming into our chimney that's sneaking presents and stuff in the chimney when we're asleep. But we tell our children or our grandchildren or our little loved ones these things to get them hyped. And then when they get older, it crushes them because they're so used to this fairy tale being kept up. And when they see that it's a lie, it devastates them. And the Easter Bunny, Ray is right too. These are so many lies that we've been indoctrinated on all these years. And here we are almost 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 years old, still believing in the Easter Bunny. It's sickening. And Brother Ray is spot on about those two traditions.
These are helpful tips in life for our group, so our group can improve. And you're right, Chazz. Not only do they lie about the Easter Bunny, Brother Ray, not only do they lie about a so-called Santa Claus, we lie about who we are. You know, we're working on ourselves, but a lot of us don't want to be honest about who we really are. We all need help. We all are growing. We all need some type of internal peace that we should be working on. We lie about so-called New Year's. That's not the New Year's. We lie about so-called Valentine's Day. We lie about Mother's Day, Father's Day. All these days are lies because most of us don't really know what the true meaning of those days are. And because those Europeanized holidays have been given to us, we lie about so-called Halloween. These people are going to celebrate within the next few days, Chazz, with nothing but a lie. This is a lie. It's straight from the pits of hell. But a lot of us adults, we've got caught up in it because we have grandkids or we have children. And see, we don't want to be honest with them. So instead of buying them candy throughout the year as we do, we want to take this one day to sit aside where we can scare the hell out of someone with ghosts and goblins and witches and broomsticks and all these. This is nonsense. But these are the things that we're dealing with, Chazz.
Yeah, and I just want to say real quick, I know we're not going to spend much time on it. On a side note, I will advise people who are around that are still living on that day, if you can, try to do your shopping today or, try to get your shopping done early in the morning because these people are crazy. A lot of robberies start to uptick around this time, a lot of carjackings, all this stuff because so many people are disguising themselves as Jason, Freddy, all these Halloween people. So I would suggest if people can, do your shopping today. Get it done early because people now on these holidays, you see a big uptick in robberies and stuff like that. So just stay careful and stay away from this stuff.
Yeah, a boy with a hatchet in his head with, like somebody that's, split his brains wide open. But we fall for this kind of stuff, Chazz.
Yeah, Brother Race is right. He agrees with us. Sister Barbara fires in here. She says teach. She agrees as well. And Brother Ray fires back in here. He says
it's a burn, he says.
Oh, I'm sorry. Or maybe he may be trying to say burden. I'll just take it at that. It's a burden knowing the truth because knowing better and still choosing to do wrong is foolishness. So to know it, let me see here. My phone is skipping. So to know it, you should make and act better. Yeah, that's the thing, brother Ray. He's right. When you don't know something and you're ignorant to it, that's fine. Okay, you didn't know. But once you have the knowledge and you still dwelling and you're still piling on and you're still going into it, that's a shame. And there are a lot of people, like brother Ray is mentioning. There are people who know that these holidays and stuff are not accurate and they are terrible, but they're still celebrating it anyway. And he is right. This is foolishness to know the truth and won't do it. He's spot on.
Yeah, and some of us we lie because we say we support Black businesses, we support African American businesses, but we really don't because we're selfish. You see, we're all about ourselves. We're not interested in helping these children. We're not interested in helping these young adults. We're not interested in helping our senior citizens. And so these conversations are beautiful because why? This broadcast is about helpful tips in life for group improvement. And our group needs to hear this because as African Americans, colored, whatever you want to call yourself, people of the way, or what have you, we need to look at some positive things to help us as a group instead of being so negative all the time.
Absolutely. Brother Ray fires back in here. He says, the only holiday I celebrate is Mother's Day because the Black woman is God. Okay, and I kind of want to push back on that, Brother Ray. I respect his opinion, but every day we don't need a certain holiday to tell us when to be thankful for our mothers, our fathers, our happy birthday, or just buying people gifts. I would say every day, if your mother, Brother Ray, is still alive, I hope she is. If not, if she is still alive, excuse me, call her. Take her out to eat if you have extra money. Do all these extra things to show that you care. It shouldn't be somewhat contingent on the holiday. And this is not to take Brother Ray's comment and minimize it, but it's just people in general who wait for a holiday, who wait for Valentine's Day, all these holidays to do something. And you mean to tell me I have to wait till Valentine's Day to show my appreciation for somebody? Brother, isn't this terrible to be thinking like that?
It's ridiculous is what it is. But once again, when a group of people have been indoctrinated and we don't know how to get out of this quagmire we find ourselves in, you're going to do those things that are terrible, as you just mentioned. So what we're saying is we don't have all the answers, but Chazz and I are giving you some helpful tips, and we're giving ourselves helpful tips in life for group improvement. We appreciate all of you who are watching this broadcast. We truly love you because we know that you could be doing something else. But this is a serious broadcast, and we're saying you got to be honest. Don't watch the broadcast once every blue moon. These are things that we should talk about every week, see, because these are the things you're not going to get at church. These are the truths you're not going to get at the mosque. These are the truths you're not going to get at your spiritual meetings. These are the truths that you're not going to get at these educational facilities. These are the truths that we need to know right now. And as we look at our group, Chazz, you know that we should do this, which is stop trying to get over on people every chance you get. We've got that bad. That's a tip we need to do. We always looking to beat someone. Can you please talk about that, Chazz?
And it's bad too, because some of our elders, brother, in their high 60s, 70s, they're not so smart with technology. They're not so sharp as some of us younger guys and younger women that are, in these things. And we are especially taking advantage of them. And not only with technology, brother, just charging them. We know, for example, we should charge them if we are going to, let's say, cut their yard. Their yard may be, $10 worth, the front yard. And the elder asks us, you know what, how much are you going to charge me? And we know that elder is not that sharp in math. And we'll tell her, this is going to cost you $50. Knowing that yard worth is not no $50. Well, see, we're doing that because we read up on this lady or this man's emotions. We see they may not be all the way there. And we see in our mind, we got a fool. We got a sucker. So that's how we look at some of our elders. And we say, in this guy that me and you tease, in our Danny Ainge's words, we're going to ainge them and screw them over. That's the way we look at it. So,
and here's something else, Chazz, that I want to throw in from a psychological perspective, because we're coming from the psychological, we're coming from the emotional, we're coming from the philosophical aspect. Here's something we need to look at, Chazz. People have got over on us all our lives. The Asians have now come to our communities, and they're raking us over the coals. The European, the white man has come in and charges us these inexorbitant amounts of money for things that doesn't cost that much. So
Right.
wherever we go, people are taking advantage of us. And
Mhm.
now we're doing the same thing to other people that look
Mhm.
like us. And
Mhm.
yet we always talk about being black and being down for the cause and being down for the people. I'm not saying we should give away everything for free. I never
Right.
said that. But what
Right.
I am saying is some of us, we're always trying to beat somebody. We're
Yeah.
always looking for the beat. And all we're saying tonight on Adults Only is as a tip. This is a helpful tip, y'all. Sometimes we got to stop this nonsense because it's not about that trying to get over on the next man before he gets you. So, Chaz,
Right.
that's important. Now, I want to do one more of these tips, and I'll open up these comments because it looks like we have about 8 of them, and we may
Okay.
not get through with this broadcast. But if we don't, that's fine, Chaz, because this broadcast is called Adults Only. It can be seen every Wednesday at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time, 7 o'clock Eastern Time. But I definitely want us to talk about this one, Chaz. Then we'll open up the comments because we have some in waiting. But these
Okay.
tips we're talking about are for our group, for our African American groups, because we need it. But here's this one, Chaz. What do you say about this?
Number 21, be strong enough to make necessary changes in life. And it takes a strong person to do that. Number 1, identifying your weaknesses. And number 2, don't lie to yourself. Don't lie to me. Don't look in that mirror and say, for example, you know that you have a problem with sugar. You know that you have a problem with, let's say, your salt intake. Instead of saying, I have an issue, we tell ourselves, oh, it's not that bad. Or no, this doctor is just making this up. Or no, our family members are just hating. These are some of the things we say. Be strong enough, and it takes courage, and it takes a little bit of willpower too, brother. Tell yourself, okay, I know I have a problem with salt. I'm going to try my hardest to stay away from food with salt, or vice versa. Not only help with people who annoy us, not saying that everybody is perfect, but we have certain relatives or certain friends that are known to getting on our nerves, as they say. And when we see them call, instead of looking to explode, try to have a level head, try to be peaceful, try to be careful, because we know that this person may agitate us. So in that regard, being strong takes a lot of willpower, wouldn't you say?
It really does, Chaz, because we always say no one is perfect, which we acknowledge that no one human being has everything that they need as far as emotional, psychological, and all of this. So we
Right.
know that. But yet, if no one's perfect, then that means that we're going to have to change.
Right.
And a lot of us don't want to change because we've been taught a lot of things since we were kids, Chaz. And a
Right.
lot of the things we've been taught since we were children, some of it is not good. Some of
Mm-hmm.
it is false. Some of it is rubbish. Some of it is nonsense. But we hold on to those things because we don't want to change. And when we talk about making changes, when we say make changes, we want the changes to be for the betterment of your life. We want to be better people. We
Right.
want people to love themselves, love your families, love who you are, love the idea of your ancestors that paved the way to get you here. Love the fact that we are, as a people, are a beautiful people. If we just looked at how we can be positive, but we've got to be strong. We've got to stop being so weak. But we
Right.
all need to change. And like I've
Right.
often said, Chaz, and I'll get the comments now, but I've often said that shows you when a person sees a person they haven't seen in 10 years, and we say, man, you're still the same. And they say, I'm never going to change. You know me, I'm always going to be this way. That shows an idiot. That shows a fool. That
Yeah.
shows an immature man or woman who has not grown. When I see
Right.
you 10 years from now, I should be saying, Chaz, you have changed. And you should
Mm-hmm.
say, I ought to change because
Right.
life is about changing. See,
Right.
and these are the discussions that a lot of us run from. But if you look at your children, look at your grandchildren, look at your parents, look at your siblings, look at all the people that you know. Most of us are so weak right now that we can't even sit down and accept this conversation as a
Right.
conversation that's talking about helpful tips in life for group improvement, because our group is going down the drain, and
Mm-hmm.
yet we act as though we have it all together. But because
Right.
we're not strong enough, Chaz, to make
Mm-hmm.
these necessary changes, we have some serious issues. So let me go back and get to some of the comments. It says we have
Okay.
10, counting up 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Here we go, 9, 10. All right, so here we go.
Okay. Brother Ray Fires in here. He says, like we know, the black vote doesn't matter, and almost do about being black and vote for a God be lesser evil in the world so lethal. Yeah, I would agree with that. I would say, and I'm going to try to take my time, brother, because I want to get these comments read. He is right. The black vote pretty much, I would say, doesn't matter, because here's the thing. Once they always lie and tell us, when I get all these presidents, when I get in office, I'm going to do this. And they lie to our faces. And I'm not a racist, man. I love all races. I'm just saying they pass all these bills so that these Asians come over here and get all these things. They let these migrants come over here, get all these things. And it's like the black man or the black woman voted for the Democratic Party or vice versa, whoever you vote for, and they screw us over. So I would say Brother Ray is spot on with this comment. I don't know if you have any details about it.
I want to say something about this comment, because I'm not pushing back on what you and Ray both said, but I'm looking at it from a different perspective.
Okay.
First of all, we're talking about helpful tips in life for our group to improve, because our group is struggling. Right. But now he's talking about one thing, but I want to take this and push it off to the side to say this. The black vote may not matter. Right. And I'm not going to say that it does or doesn't. But what I am going to say, if a person isn't voting, what do we put in place to help our people who's struggling with whatever we say they need? See, we got too much fat mouthing going on. We're talking and we're not doing anything. So if we're not going to do anything when it comes to the vote, then what do we have in place as a people to help our senior citizens, to help our young kids who are committing suicide, to help our little children who are being miseducated, to help our adults who are on all kinds of medicines, to help the people who are struggling from a financial perspective when it comes to the job situation? See, we talk about all this stuff as if, well, nothing matters, and maybe it doesn't, because I'm not going to debate that, because I have my own understanding of that. But the bottom line is this: if we don't do that, and we don't have to, what do we have that we can go to where we can get money that we need to buy homes, where we can get food, where we can get shelter, where we can get knowledge, where we can get insight? See, that's what I'm talking about, man. That's what I'm talking about.
Well said. Brother Darrell says, I'm colored. Laugh out loud. Sister Gloria comes back in here. She says, those are man-made holidays. Absolutely.
Oh, I want to say something about that. Okay. You see, and Sister Gloria, you know, she's a beautiful queen, and I appreciate this comment, but I want to take this comment a little bit farther.
Okay.
She's right that these are man-made holidays. But Chazz, check this out. We support those holidays. They may be man-made, and they are. But how many of us support Thanksgiving? How many of us support Christmas? How many of us support so-called New Year's? How many of us support Valentine's Day? How many of us support all these days that we give, that they have given us, I should say? So yes, they're man-made, but you know, every day that's out here is made by a man from the standpoint of any holiday. Kwanzaa, every so-called holiday that's out there, a man made the holiday. My challenge is, though, not so much that a man made it, but some of these holidays have nothing to do with us. And yet we celebrate them and we give our money to these people all the time. And so we need to stop it, because they're exploiting us just like everybody else.
And I was just going to say, if I can real quick, my issue with the holidays is not that, because here's the thing, some people would like to say, oh, you don't want us to get together. I'm not saying that. I want people to get together. I have two hiccups. My first hiccup, it shouldn't take a holiday for us to want to get together with our friends, our loved ones, talk, mingle, and do some catching up because we haven't seen them in a while. That's my issue, that we wait for a day or a specific day to do something. My other hang up, number two, is most of the holidays, when you dig deep and you do your own research, most of it, the background and underneath it, the history of it is rotten. It's evil. The things that took place on most of these holidays, when you do your research, you're going to be sick to your stomach. We've done studies on Thanksgiving, how sick and wicked that was. You can look at Halloween when you look at when you look underneath this stuff, how wicked and evil all these holidays are. So those are my two things, and I'm not going to go off on a rant, just to make myself clear. My two issues are with these holidays. Number one, we wait for them to, see our loved ones or our friends. And number two, the underneath issue is that most of them are wicked. So those are my two issues with these holidays, I would say.
Yeah, and I think we also have to look at this thing for what it's really worth, you see, because we can take the money that we spend, these billions of dollars, when you add all the liquor, all the booze, all the toys, all the gifts, all the clothes, all the jewelry, all the material things. We don't support each other like that. But we'll run down the street to someone else and give them our money and then turn right around and complain about them taking advantage of us. So you see, that's problematic right there. So we're talking about helpful tips for group improvement.
Brother Ray fires back in here. He says, of course, you honor your mother every day, yet group honor is more powerful and meaningful to all the mothers.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well said, Brother Ray. Sister Gloria admits, she says, so true. Okay. And Brother Ray fires back in here. He says, my bad. I don't have my glasses on. Sister Gloria fires in here. She says, you're speaking facts. Okay. She also comes back and says, true. And she says, yes, it does.
She's in church right now. She's in church. She's listening to the sermon and she's attesting to the truth, you see. She's attesting to the facts that we're laying out here, because many of us talk about what we can do to help our group, but a lot of us don't do anything about it. So it becomes talk. And that's all I'm saying. We don't support one another. We're always trying to bring each other down. We don't like to listen to these types of broadcasts because these broadcasts challenges us. It challenges you. It challenges me. But because most of us have this little mindset of kids, we don't want people to know that we all need help and we're struggling. I'm struggling. You're struggling. But we want people to think that we know everything. And most of us don't, because if that's the case, then we would be a so-called God or a so-called deity. But because we have not been taught to sit back and learn and let these truths be applied to our lives, we will all be better people, because we need these tips. And we're just pleading tonight that we need to listen to these helpful tips to help our group out, because our group is struggling.
Absolutely. Well said. Brother Ray fires back in here. He says, be strong enough to see your own wrong and humbly correct yourself. Yeah, and I want to cut this in half if I can, Brother Ray. Humbly correct yourself. See, a lot of us aren't humble. A lot of us think that our stuff doesn't stink. A lot of us think that we got all this figured out. We got all this money. We got all these degrees. Nobody can tell us nothing. And when you get to that point, you're not humble, because, in fact, when you try to correct them in a nice way, they think that you're taking a shot at their self-esteem. You're taking a shot at their last name. It's not about that. So like Brother Ray said, be strong enough, be man enough, be woman enough to humbly correct yourself when you see yourself in error. Well said, Brother Ray. I appreciate that.
And that's so crucial, because he's right. Because a lot of us never see ourselves as wrong. No matter what we say, people are not going to acknowledge that they're wrong. Now, I will acknowledge in a heartbeat, because I've been wrong. Even when I'm teaching my children, I call myself dealing with an issue, and then they will correct me. And instead of me getting angry with them, I would tell them, you know what, I appreciate that, because I don't know everything. And then they say, you're not like our parents. I say, why? They say, because when we correct our parents, they tell us, you don't correct me, I'm grown. See, these are the kind of things we're dealing with, Chazz. And a lot of us don't want to be honest about this.
Absolutely. We got a new comment. Sister Nikita, I haven't seen her in a while. She says, hi, family. Hey, Sister Nikita, how you doing? Brother Ray fires back at us. He says, organize our own socioeconomic support system, because the vote been tried and proved it is futile. I'll let you take this one.
Yeah, he's right, because any organization or any people, they have a socioeconomic base. In other words, their economics is stable because they know how to buy from each other, sell to each other, and make their money turn into wealth. We're the only ones that don't, because we don't know the importance of how socioeconomics is important in a system. Because if you don't, you're going to continue to work and continue to be service to other people. So he's right. If the vote is not working, and we all cry that it's not, then he's saying, which we should have our own. Listen, we've been here for over 400 years now, and we're still griping. We're still complaining. Yes, Jim Crow happened. Yes, slavery happened. Yes, all those things happened to us. And we're not saying that those things didn't affect us. But when are we going to start pooling our resources together and supporting one another, so we don't have to keep complaining about Asians selling us their hair, selling us their nails, doing our toes, doing our nails? When are we going to stop complaining and start getting together as a group and say, we're going to organize our own socioeconomic support system? And this is a beautiful tip that we have here that he said.
Sister Marie falls in here. She says, teach Jahi. Okay, she appreciates your teaching. I want to say this real quick with the socioeconomic comment that Brother Ray just said. The thing is, like you said, we always run to these Asians and these Japs and stuff to do these sisters' hair, nails, and all that, which is okay if they want to do that. The thing is, when the black man or the black woman tries to put themselves in that position, here's the thing, and I hate saying this, I've said this before. The brother or sister jacks the price up, and a lot of people say, I'm not going to Charles, or I'm not going to Susie. You see her prices are high. And see, then with that kind of mindset, we say, I ain't paying that. So we go back to the Jap, we go back to the Asian, we go back to all of them because we feel like Susie and Charles are trying to get over on us. But little do we know, Susie or Charles is trying to compete with them, and they have to have the prices high just so they can kind of be what you would say, even ground. So we have to stop saying that about our brothers and sisters who try to read these businesses, and we see that the prices are high. We don't want nothing to do with them. We think that they're trying to get over on us.
And look how messed up that mindset is, what you just said. Look how messed up it is. And I'm going to tell you what I mean by that. We won't go to our brothers and sisters who may charge us just a little more because we critique them and we're angry and we don't want to do business with them and they look like us. But all our lives, we've done business with people who have abused us, people who are racist, people who are bigoted, people who are sexist. We buy cars, we buy TVs, we buy homes, we pay apartment rent, we pay all these different fees for what they do all of our lives. And here is a black man or black woman got a business and we're going to gripe, almost cursed. We're going to gripe just because we don't want to go to them because of something else, but yet we'll run right down the street. And it's really funny, Chazz, and I want to give it back to you, but it's really funny how every time we talk about freedom and we want to be free, our freedom as a people is always giving our money to somebody else. In other words, I don't want to live around black people, so I want to go live around white people. I'm free to do what I want to do. Well, when I want to go buy a car, I don't want to buy a car from a black person, so I go to a white person, I buy a car, and I say, I'm free. I can do what I want to do. But a white person don't feel like they have to get around us to be free. They don't want to live with us to be free. But the Negro always runs around trying to make sure that his freedom is where he spends money with somebody else that doesn't look like him, and that makes him think he's really expressing his freedom, but he's expressing his slavery or her slavery, and we don't see that. So that was really good, Chazz. That was really good right there. So I just want you to know that we've got to start being strong enough to make these changes in our lives.
Absolutely. Brother Ray fires back in here. He says, not me again. Only my Mother's Day that organs is in Africa. No other holiday. I don't even do Father's Day because it is a European American holiday. I can't be a hypocrite. Well, yeah. Okay, I'll let you take it and I'll pick back. Go ahead.
Jump in on this. Okay, listen, Chazz. And Raymond, I know he's got some smiling faces, so we know he's saying this in love and he's having fun.
Right.
No one should tell you what day to honor your mother.
Right.
No one should tell you what day to honor your father.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't have to wait one day a year to say, hey, I want to honor my mother and father and treat them like crap the rest of the year. So regardless of whether it's a so-called holiday or not, we should honor them because of who they are. But see, it's that mentality, not Ray's mentality. Right. But it's that mentality who takes one day and uplifts that day over every other day. And then when the mother or father needs money or they need some kind of help, we don't come around. But yet on that day, we want to buy them flowers, take them out to eat. And that's problematic.
Yeah. And that's my issue too. First, let me go ahead and read this comment and I'll go back. Brother Daryl says, we've been conditioned. How can we change? Well, Brother Daryl, I would say if you've been conditioned and once you expose the truth or someone tells you the truth, do your own research, fact check it. And when you find out it's a lie, you say, you know what? I've been living like this for 10, 20, 30 years. I know it's a hard pill for me to swallow, but I'm going to move away from the table. I'm not going to celebrate Thanksgiving. I'm not going to celebrate these holidays. And let me be clear, Brother Daryl, it's not anything wrong with meeting with your family or getting together, having fun. There's nothing wrong with that, brother. But do not, like we keep hitting at, do not wait for a certain day to do these things every day, even if they can't do it today. Pick up the phone and say, you know what, 3 days from now, let's all go to the bowling alley or let's all get together and play some cards. That's fine. But we got to stop being so conditioned to where if it's not on a holiday, we feel like it's something wrong with it. It's not like that. So I would just clear this up finally and say, Brother Daryl, once you find out the truth, it's going to be hard, but just try to step away from it as quickly as possible. That's the only way you're going to detach from it.
Okay, let me take a bite out of this apple that Brother Daryl said. Let me take a bite out of this apple. Here's the deal. We know we've been conditioned. So
Right.
how can we change? Well, if we know we've been conditioned, who conditioned you? Who conditioned me? Go back and learn that our minds have to be giving back to the people who are the first ones on the planet, the first one on the face of this earth, the first people who gave us knowledge, the first people who gave us history, the first people who gave us science, the first people who gave us government, the first people who gave us everything, astronomy, astrology, architecture, the first people that gave us everything. You go back to those people and you see what did they teach, and you're going to find out that the conditioning that we have now will leave us fast because our mindset has changed. We will not accept the same thing. We know that these days are not good, so then don't celebrate them. That's how we change. It's not as difficult. And I know Brother Daryl's not saying it's hard. He's asking a great question. So we're telling him how to change the mindset, stop participating in this nonsense, stop giving your money, stop giving my money to these people, quit supporting all this stuff, and learn how to teach our kids unity. Teach your family self-determination. Teach your family cooperative economics. Teach your family principles and values. Teach them that we as a people have to go into the soul and learn that these things that we're talking about, they can be done. But we must become mentally free from this, as opposed to keep doing the same old thing and then ask, or complaining about what they're doing to us.
Right. Well said. Brother Ray fires back in here. He says, you reward publicly and correct privately. Brother Daryl says, sometimes they charge more because it costs them more to maintain the business because they're black. Absolutely, Brother Daryl said that. And especially, Brother Daryl, when they first get started, they just started this job, and let's say they only a week in, 2 weeks in, a month in, they can't afford to give you pennies on the dollar or charge you nothing. They have to try to stay afloat with the other businesses because it's a competition. We all know this. Other competitions are trying to beat them. They're trying to beat the competition. And for them to stay afloat, they have to jack up the price. But see, we, not you, Brother Daryl, but us as people, we look at that. Oh, Susie, who she thinks she is, charging $60 for those nails. She has to stay afloat. But we look at that as she's evil. She's trying to get over. I ain't going to her. Who she thinks she is. So these are some of the things that we say, but we gotta stop that. But Brother Daryl, we appreciate your comment as well.
Yeah, because we got to understand sacrifice. We have to sacrifice and pay more so that we can run these other people out of town. Once we run these other people out of our communities, then we can talk to the person that's in our community as an African American and say, now let's put this money back into the community. See, that's what we have to acknowledge, that we have a responsibility, and sometimes we have to pay more. But yet we don't say anything when we pay these high prices for apartments, high prices for cars, high prices for used jalopies, high prices for houses, high prices for clothes, high prices for food. We say nothing about that. But yet we're talking about they have to charge us more. Well, other people charge us much more than they do. This is a mindset, you see.
Yeah. Brother Ray fires back in here. He says, the Black American consumer makes the rich and upper middle class comfort. The Black consumer alone. Black businesses need the Black consumers too. Yeah, we do. The Black businesses, we listen, as a Black, we all need each other. We do need to help each other, like you said, keep the money in our community, try to build the community. But our mindsets are so warped, we think that because we can live next to a white person or a white woman, that we're really doing something. And instead of us, like you said earlier, brother, taking that money, keeping it in the community, we take that money, we go way out on the north side or whatever side of town is the rich, and we feel like we're doing something. But I would say, to Brother Ray's comment, we should also try to keep that money all together in the Black community as much as possible if you can. He also says, I set days aside to enjoy my mother, and on Mother's Day, too, for my mother, to my mother, spirit of mother on earth, and the out of the Omniverse, the spirit of Nut, Hathor, and Aset. Now, brother, I know this is up your alley with the Hathor and Aset. If you could explain to us what Ray is saying, because this one I'm kind of
Yeah.
lost. I'm not familiar with them.
Well, he's talking about the ancients of old. We saw the woman as divine. We saw the woman as divinity. And these spirits of Nut, Hathor, and Aset, these were principles in ancient Egyptian culture. And these principles, when you study them, they always put the woman up on a pedestal, because this is how it all started. And our ancestors knew it was all about womanhood. It was all about respecting the woman, loving the woman, honoring the woman. And so the spirit of Nut, the spirit of Hathor, the spirit of Aset, these are principles that he's talking about that basically says how we should give the woman her proper due.
Okay, well said. Brother Ray fires back in here again. He says, anyone want to set aside to love mothers? I'm all in. Okay, these got some emojis. He also says black businesses need black consumers, and black consumers need black businesses.
Yeah, that's true. So let's continue to go, Chazz, because we have so much information that we need to talk about. So I think what we're going to do is let's go to the next one. We talked about not getting caught up in these fantasies, but let's jump to this one here.
Number 23, commit yourself to helping a good cause in your family or community. As far as these are some of the things I've felt that would be helpful. Teaching or tutoring our youth. Youth development, helping the homeless, helping neighbors with repairs such as car trouble or minor inconveniences that may take place in their home or apartment. So those are some of the things I would put that I feel like that helps fit this number 23 as far as helping people with a good cause, especially our youth. They're the most, to me, they should be really, really looked at because they're young. They need some kind of guidance. They need someone to look up to. And I think just tutoring and helping the youth is really, really important.
Yeah, commit yourself. In other words, be committed to say, I'm going to do something very, very positive in my family or in my community. And each one knows what that is. So I have nothing much more to say to that, Chazz, but go to the next one.
Number 24, practice self-reliance. Quit depending on others to do what you can do for yourself. Absolutely. Now, this one is kind of a little bit tricky. I'm looking down at my little notes here. I would say something as far as growing our own foods or sewing our own clothing, weaving our own fabrics. Now, there's nothing wrong with going to certain places who do these things, but being self-reliant and saying, you know what, I can save money. I can keep a little extra cash in my pocket. I'll sew my own clothes. I'll try to grow my own food. You save more money in your pocket, and it teaches you to stop always being relying on people, because here's the thing. What happens, hypothetically, when the system crashes and Walmart and all these places, H-E-B, Target, Kroger, all these places, what happens when you can't grow your own food because these stores are out of food? You're hit. So once again, now I'm not sitting back saying that I know how to grow my own food, I have my own crop. I'm just saying these are some of the things you want to look at to practice self-reliance. Brother Ray fires back in here. He says, when Black-owned businesses are set up and designed to support and accommodate Black people and hire Black people for gainful employment. Okay. Brother Daryl says, jealousness runs so rapid in the Black community. Yeah. And it's a sickening shame that we're so jealous. Instead of being happy or, hype for the brother, clapping and hype for him, we try to tear them down. Or what's his little rundown business is going to close down in a month. These are some of the comments that we say, but Brother Daryl is spot on.
And he has to, and we have to realize a lot of this is a learned behavior. It's a learned behavior. We learn that from other people, how they talk about us, how they are jealous of us. And so other races, so-called races, are jealous of us and they put us down. They talk about us like dogs. And then we do the very same thing to each other. So again, it goes back to that mental. And this is why we don't get a lot of engagement when it comes to just different comments that's going to talk about the mindset, because the mind of most of us has been so ravaged. It has been raped. It has been pillaged. It has been plundered. And our minds are so far gone that it's going to take something like a miracle for us to start all over again, because we have nothing in us but what we've been taught, which is garbage, which is nonsense, and which is mess. And this is why we do these broadcasts, to try to bring some shine light and give some practical truths on how to come back to ourselves, because a lot of us are just crazy, Chaz.
Absolutely. Brother Ray says he's agreeing with Brother Daryl. He says, yes, Daryl, envy. Absolutely. He also fires back in here and says 97% of us works for white-owned businesses. It must stop. We all we need is us. Yeah, we do. He's absolutely right on that.
And like I said last week, you can talk about our ancestors all you want to, but the more things change, the more they stay the same. They worked for whites for free. We work for them now for peanuts. They were oppressed. We are oppressed. They ate the same foods because they were given the foods. We eat the same foods. They were educated by the same people. We're educated by the same people. They were made to speak the same language that we speak now, which is English from Europe. We speak the same language. So it's pretty much the same, other than we don't have the chains around our feet and our ankles. We have the chains wrapped around our minds. And that's what this is all about, trying to help us do something positive.
Number 25, gravitate towards positivity in your life. Yes, we need to start looking at more upbeat things in your life. Quit being so negative. Quit always tearing things down. Quit always minimizing things and looking at things at a negative way. When we say gravitate towards positive things, you know what positive things are, such as we mentioned this before, our health, the future. Being bright and positive, because all this negativity and all this anger and hatred, all it does is it sky rises your blood pressure. And number two, it takes a toll on your mental. And I'll say this real quick before I pass it. I'm willing to bet you, when you start looking at things from a positive perspective, watch how much your blood pressure drops lower when you start looking at things from a positive perspective. And I'll go ahead and pass it to you, brother.
Yeah, and I want to make it really practical, because you just laid it out there for us in really simple terms. But the practicality that I'm talking about is something as simple as this: gravitate towards positivity in your life. Something as simple as, and notice how I said simple, something as simple as taking care of yourself. Right. Take care of yourself. Right. Stop eating all this salt. Stop eating all this sugar. Stop eating all this grease. Stop eating all this red meat.
Yeah.
Walk, exercise, meditate. Yeah. Come on, stop doing all these. These are positive things that we can gravitate towards. So these things are very practical, Chaz. We're not asking you to catch a rocket and go to the moon and come back. We're saying stop watching all of that garbage that we watch on social media and on TV. Stop talking crazy to our children and to each other just because we don't know how to communicate. Learn how to love yourself. Learn how to respect yourself. Learn how to respect our elders. Learn how to respect our youth. Learn how to respect all those who look like you. See, this is positivity, and these are some beautiful tips, but unfortunately, many of us don't want to hear these tips because our minds have been made up. We're going to do what we want to do in spite of.
And I was, before I read Brother Ray's comment, I was going to say, this is right up my alley. We've done teachings and stuff on the self and all these positive things. And I would say, as a little nugget for positivity, getting some sunlight. A lot of people's issues is not that it's the end all be all, but when you're not getting sunlight and it's constantly raining, if you're living in a town that is constantly raining or what have you, and you're not getting enough sunlight, it's going to affect your mood. So if you're not getting enough sunlight, you're going to be more grouchy, more frustrated, more angry. So I would say, if you can, when the sun is out, if you have the time, if you're not at work, go out to the park, get you some sun. That sun is going to make you more positive. But when you don't, it's going to make you more grouchy. Now, Brother Ray fires back in here. He says, share cropping on a grander scale. And then he also says, free range sharecropping in prisons are the slave plantations. Absolutely.
It's just talking about modern day slavery by another name. In other words, what they're doing to us now.
Okay. Brother Ray's fired back in here again. He says, learn how to laugh and have a good time. Yes. And let me just hit on this. Everybody is so on edge. I see this when I'm driving. I see this everywhere when I'm on the highway. Everybody's in a rush to go everywhere. People are not speaking to one another. Everybody's just about angry, heads in their phones. You speak to someone, they keep walking. People don't know how to lighten up. Everything is not so evil and dark. Lighten up. Telling someone good morning. And once again, I told this young man the other day, I said, Good morning, young man. Have a good day at school. This brother lit up like a Christmas tree. He was so happy just to have that. And he told me the same. Well, the thing is, even though I'm not in school, the point is just simple conversation, laugh. They say laughter is good for the heart. Why? Let me ask you this, brother. Now, I'm not trying to go on a rant here. Let me ask you this. Why does everybody seem like they are so on edge right now? And it's not just this state, just all over the world. Why does everybody seem like they're on edge?
Because our problems are handling us instead of us handling our problems. We got so many bills. We have so many issues. We have so many family problems. We have so many relational problems. We have so many economical problems. We have so many marital problems. We have issues all over. We have so many spiritual problems. And because those things that we thought were working should be working, they're not working. Religion isn't working. Spirituality isn't working. Christianity isn't working. Islam isn't working. Buddhism isn't working. It's finally caught up with us. So we play the game when we run to these buildings to make people think we feel that we're doing good. But you're right. This is why we don't know how to have a good time. Now, I want to do a quick commercial because I think this is important. This Saturday at 1 o'clock, I need everybody to tune in to the Jah and Kev show. The Jah and Kev show, it's on YouTube. So please sign up, go to our YouTube channel and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's the Jah and Kev show. And myself and brother Kevin Lewis, we're going to be talking about a subject, Chazz, called Silence of the Lambs. And basically, we're going to be talking about how a lot of us are so silent when we're being done wrong and why we're so quiet as people are treating us like dirt, kicking us in the feet. And a lot of us won't say anything. But when you close the doors and get behind our closed doors at home in our apartments, we talk loud then because the system is unjust. But we don't say anything when we should. And so we're going to talk about silence of the lambs. And I think that's going to be a really, really very important discussion that we should have, because a lot of us, we just don't know what to do now. And that's what we're going to be talking about.
Okay. Good one. Number 26. Get more involved in the lives of our younger people. Why? Because they need us right now. And I said this earlier. Yes, our young ones, they're looking for hope. They're looking for help. Their minds are fragile. They don't really comprehend what's going on. Some of them don't. They're following the wrong role models. They're looking up to people that they shouldn't be looking up to. And when you have that issue, they start emulating some of the behaviors. And then here you are, have a 16, 17-year-old locked up in the joint because they're emulating someone they have no business doing. We as role models, I'm talking about us as adults here, not that we have to have a lot of money or, have to be on TV or things like that. But just being a positive role model is when they see us telling them positive things, telling them that they're a good kid or a good young woman, teaching them or just telling them positive things about themselves, because, brother, they do need us right now. And especially with the way this world is going, I would absolutely say that they need us right now, brother.
Okay, and I might have forgotten to say on the last commercial that I talked about, the Jah and Kev show comes on at 1 o'clock Central Standard Time, and it comes on at 2 o'clock Eastern Time. So that's what time we come on. But let's get into this discussion here. These helpful tips for our group, for helpful tips in life. Chazz, here's the test that I want everybody to take right now. Don't say anything else. Just take the test. How many young people's lives are we involved in right now? Don't answer, just think about it. How many young people are we mentoring? Don't answer, just think about it. How many young people are we talking to on a regular basis to try to steer them in the right direction? See, we can go on, and you're going to find out that the answer is zero. They need us right now, not in the future, not in the past. They need us now. And any society that gives up on their young people is a society that's heading down a dangerous road of anarchy. And that's what many of us have done. So we want you to go back and find someone. Maybe they're in your family. Maybe they're a close friend. Maybe they're a friend of a friend. That's a youth. Talk to them. Our number one issue that we're facing with now from the ages of probably 5 to 18 is suicide. Our youth are killing themselves. And yet we're too busy on a phone or on a TV looking at silly things and not trying to get involved to stop what's going on from happening. So that's what we need to do, Chazz, is get involved with the youth, man.
If I can, I want to give you a theory that's out there, because I hear this a lot. Some of them, not all of them, but some of them, they say, I ain't talking to that youth. They too far gone. Now, there are a couple of them that are too far gone, but you still can listen, just because a person is too far gone, that doesn't mean that you can't turn them around. I mean, because a person look like the streets have taken over their lives. I hear this a lot where a lot of people say that they don't want to talk to our youth because it's just a done deal. Close the curtains. You can't reach them. I would still say, even if it's 2 minutes, try to talk to them. And if they tell you blunt, I don't want to hear you, old fart, well, then you walk away. But other than that, you still should be trying to talk to them. Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, because we are obligated to them. And the bottom line is nobody gave up on us when we were growing up. You know, we were just as bad. And maybe they don't want to hear it now, but that doesn't mean they don't want to hear it in the future, you see. So we can't give up on them. To turn our backs on our youth right now, as most of us have done, we ought to be ashamed of ourselves. But because we don't see anything wrong with that, we're not interested in our youth. All we want is a blunt. All we want is all we want is a cigarette. All we want is some dope. All we want is some juice. All we want is some gin. All we want is some rum. All we want is some beer. All we want is some Coke. All we want is some 7-Up. All we want is some orange drink. All we want is some grape drink. All we want is some water. All we want is some food. All we want is some money. You see, this is what's going on with us now. All we want is pork. All we want is some beef. All we want is some greens. All we want is some eggs, some bacon. We just want something to feed ourselves. And this is what's killing us, Chazz. And I know you're laughing, but it's true. So we don't want to get involved in the lives of our young people. And this is why, again, these types of broadcasts are not very entertaining because we're not sitting up here using vulgarity, shaking our backside and talking about people. We're giving helpful tips. But many of us so-called African Americans, our minds are so gone, we don't have an appetite for the things that we're talking about now. And this is why we're struggling right now.
Wow. Brother Ray fires back in here. He says, have balance, though. Absolutely. Equal fun. Uh-oh. Okay. Have balance, though. Equal fun and equal raging against the machine to break through what we need. He's right. We got to be balanced here. You can't be so lopsided. You got to try to balance this thing off because when you balance it, it'll help you not be so stressed out and so frustrated. So when you have enough balance, everything plays out pretty well, I would say. Good comment, Brother Ray. He says, Brother Ray fires back. He says, I fuss and I fight. Sister Rashonda has some emoji laughing faces.
Well, Chazz, the question is, I'm going to read this one let you read this by Brother Ray, then we'll go to something else. But go ahead and read this one, and we'll go to it.
Okay. He says, the children are our afterlife, and grandbabies are angels.
He's right, because they come behind us is what he's trying to say. They are our posterity. They are the ones that's going to carry the torch when we're gone. So we have to invest in them now. And so this is what I'm trying to say, Chazz. Who would not want helpful tips in life for a group that's struggling, for a group that has been ostracized, for a group that has been denigrated, for a group that has been kicked in the teeth, for a group that has been treated like animals for 400 years plus, for a group that has been taken advantage of? Who would not want to hear tips? But we don't want to hear tips. Many of us don't want to hear these tips, but these are helpful tips for group improvement because we need to. Chazz, we're going to have to do the rest of this next week.
What? Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know we were going to run out of time, but we definitely are running out of time. So we'll stop with this one about getting involved, and we'll come back next week with a brand new bullet point that we want to talk about. But Chazz, like I said, I think it's important that we actually are serious about these conversations. Yeah, I really think we need to start talking more about educating our people as to how to realize that we only going to be here for a short period of time on this earth. Right. And we need to talk about tips. Our babies are dying. Our young people are dying. Our teenagers are dying. Our middle-aged are dying. Our seniors are dying. And a lot of us are mentally distraught. And so here's a broadcast that's saying, hey, we want to talk about helpful tips in life for group improvement, because our group is being taken advantage of even as I speak right now. But unfortunately, Chazz, we don't really see the need for this. And I'm trying to reach out. We're crying out. We're pleading. We're imploring people to think about the importance of these tips, not just on this screen, Chazz, but let's do these tips in our lives. Let's put these tips in our lives. Let's apply these tips, and you're going to see how better we're going to be. So again, I'm pretty much out of words. I'm going to let you close us out. But we appreciate all of you who came out to view this broadcast and who stuck in there with us.
Yeah.
Who hung in here for a whole hour. Because some of them got on this broadcast. It was too hot for them. It was too hot for them. So they got off. But some of them stayed from the beginning to the end because they know that these tips, adults only, is a very serious broadcast. So what I want to say is, Shem Hotel to all you brothers and sisters, and I'll put 2 of these comments on. So if you comment after this, we may not get to it, but I'll let Chazz read these comments. And Chazz, you're going to take us out, or as in showbiz they say, you're going to take us on home.
Okay. Brother Ray fires back. He says, organize yourself, organize your home, organize your community. Absolutely. Sister Mashonda fires in here. She says, Shimotep brothers, good broadcast. Appreciate that. Appreciate it. But yeah, tonight was a good broadcast. We appreciate Brother Ray, Sister Mashonda, Sister Marie, all you guys, Brother Daryl. If I'm forgetting somebody, forgive me. But all you guys who were on here, we appreciate you. But tonight was a good broadcast. We're going to have to pick it up again next week. Helpful tips for, in general, our minds, our hearts, what's going on with our youth, being a guidance to our youth, trying to show them that there is hope, there is a way out, there are things that can be done to help improve their lives. Also, some of the comments that were made by Brother Ray, some good ones. Learning how to laugh more, being more joyful, quit being so uptight with everything. And last but not least, this is for all of us, myself included, telling the truth. Some of these topics that we touched on, quit lying so much. These are all issues that we all, even in one way or the other, are dealing with. And just hopefully we can take this broadcast and share it and try to live by it. That's pretty much all I have, brother. I look forward to doing this one. You said again next week?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I look forward to doing it next week.